Google search just isn't hitting the same way anymore.
Has anyone else noticed that Google is absolute garbage lately?
I think I might start using Bing or DuckDuckGo.
Searching for even the simplest piece of information on Google right now makes me feel like the whole world is playing a prank.
Even Wall Street is taking issue.
I think there are some concerns on use of competitive AI tools as an alternative to search.
The mainstreaming of generative AI, OpenAI's ChatGPT moment, it took the behemoth by surprise. And it could now threaten to knock it off the podium.
Everybody who's watching technology, the entire market, understands that Google's been slow here.
A perfect storm of younger platforms encroaching.
I also use TikTok as Google now. Like, anytime I want to know anything.
Nimbler, hungrier startups hot on its tail.
What Perplexity does is a paradigm shift in search.
Wait a minute. If we started all over, is there a faster, better, cheaper way to do this? That's exactly what we did with Arc Search.
Megacaps looking to steal share.
I hope that with our innovation, they will definitely want to come out and show that they can dance, and I want people to know that we made them dance.
This week on TechCheck, how to lose a lead. Is this the end of Google search as we know it?
Search has been about 10 blue links for the last 20 years. And 10 blue links was always a hack. At the end of the day, people just wanted an answer.
That's Aravind Srinivas, the CEO of Perplexity, a startup that has set its sights on Google search. He says that generative AI has led to a shift that creates a new opening in search.
We are trying to move you to a paradigm where, just like how you would talk to a person, you just directly come and ask your question. You don't talk to a person by typing in speaking keywords. And
he has a very impressive roster of investors, including the likes of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and existing AI darling NVIDIA. And he's not the only one taking this on. Arc, which started as a browser to replace Chrome, now also has an app dedicated to search.
We're actually doing to Google search what Google did to the web before it.
They've even announced a partnership in which Perplexity is the default search engine on Arc's browser. A coalition of startups trying to reinvent search, like Satya Nadella.
They're the 800-pound gorilla on this.
They say that Google's size makes it slow to innovate. 10 blue links is the way it has been for years.
Classic innovator's dilemma. How could you think anything is going wrong? You've got billions and billions of people using your search engine every day. You are printing cash, the best business model ever invented.
Instead, Perplexity's interface is clean and simple. Users, they can ask questions, and the AI gives you a summary of an answer and even includes sources. Arc's app uses a Browse For Me function that reads web pages for you and creates a short report with all the details you need. It might be easier to show some examples. Here's how they look when searching for the Super Bowl. In all three, you can easily see the date and time displayed. Now let's give it something more challenging, like what was Qualcomm's first quarter 2024 earnings? First up, Google. It gives you those blue links, and you'd have to click on each of them to really get the numbers. Perplexity writes a summary based on different news sources, and Arc breaks it down in bullet points that are easy to skim. But what if you wanted to search for something more subjective, like what are the best boots for women? Well, Google's results are filled with sponsored options, links from companies that pay to be there. No ads, though, from Perplexity and Arc searches because they're not trying to sell you something. Instead, they're giving you trends and categories. Even before Gen AI chatbots, users were turning to social platforms for more objective results. A younger generation is increasingly replacing traditional search with TikTok or Reddit.
I grew a garden yesterday.
Yeah.
Only from TikTok. No YouTube, no Google, TikTok.
Now, when people Google things, they type in like Jaclyn Hill Lipstick Gate Reddit, and they go to Reddit because that will actually give you the answer.
Another crop of competitors that could be grabbing share. One Google executive has even said that almost 40% of young people, when looking for a place to have lunch, they don't go to Google Maps or search. They go to TikTok or Instagram. Google was supposed to own artificial intelligence. 7 years ago, CEO Sundar Pichai, he declared that Google would become an AI-first company.
We've talked about this important shift from a mobile-first to an AI-first world, and we are driving it forward across all our products and platforms.
It also acquired startup DeepMind in 2014, securing the brightest minds in the field of AI and merging it with its own AI efforts. Google had pole position. But instead, ChatGPT stole its moment.
2 weeks ago, a new artificial intelligence program called ChatGPT made its debut online.
The ChatGPT phenomenon. Everyone's been talking about the ChatGPT.
Microsoft got credit for its multi-billion-dollar investment and cloud and profit-sharing arrangements. Microsoft also knew how to make it hurt. It would go after Google's cash cow, search. And so Satya Nadella and team, they began integrating ChatGPT into its own search engine, Bing.
It's a new race in the most important software category, or the largest software category in search. Let's face it, Google dominates it. We are thrilled to be here launching Bing to compete.
Google scrambled, releasing its own AI chatbot, Bard, in an event the very next day.
Bard seeks to combine the breadth of the world's knowledge with the power, intelligence, and creativity of our large language models.
But even Google's own employees called the launch rushed and botched, with shares tanking 10% after that demo.
They also threw some words back at CEO Sundar Pichai, saying, how is this keeping focused? You know, this is seeming like a rushed reaction to what Microsoft is doing with ChatGPT.
Later that year, Google tried again, publishing a video demonstration of its new large language model called Gemini. Critics called it faked and misleading.
It was edited. It was cut to look like it was faster and more capable than it actually is.
So while Google promised AI first years ago, it has yet to fully integrate it into search in a way that impresses investors and consumers.
When you think about the way that ChatGPT is making headway, or even Bing, right, what Google risks right now is losing that user behavior to its competitors.
And now the search threat may be showing up in Google's financials. 2023 fourth quarter search ad revenue nearly missed analysts' expectations, and CFO Ruth Porat hedged search growth going forward.
As we enter 2024 with advertising revenues of more than $100 billion higher than 2019, we remain focused on sustaining healthy growth on this larger base.
Analysts, they tried to get at the question on everyone's minds. Is AI hurting Google? Are people turning elsewhere for search?
I think there are some concerns on use of competitive AI tools as an alternative to search. Just wondering if you've seen any changes in query volumes, positive or negative, since you've seen the year evolve and more search-generated experiences, and what can really make Google stand out versus other AI tools.
Instead, Pichai seemed to dodge the question.
We've been doing this for a long time, and I think what ends up mattering is a strong, continuous track record of innovation. Obviously, generative AI is a new tool in the arsenal.
So what is Google's response to the chatbots?
I think through the year two, when we test search generative experience, particularly against everything that's out there, and we can see the progress we are making and how much users are liking the experience better.
Google is calling it Search Generative Experience, or SGE for short, first announced in May at its developer conference.
You'll notice a new integrated search results page, so you can get even more out of a single search. There's an AI-powered snapshot that quickly gives you the lay of the land on a topic.
Now, that video, it did seem to appease investors, and shares rose back to its level from before that first botched Bard rollout. But the hype was short-lived as Wall Street again started to question if Google was quick enough, nimble enough to keep up in the fast-moving AI arms race. Part of the issue, Google remains in test mode.
Test search generative experience.
It may be early, but others like OpenAI and Microsoft, they're doing more than just testing. They're promoting their chatbots and they're making them the default. Instead, Google is using a tentative rollout for what is supposed to be its blockbuster response to impending AI threats. Meanwhile, a new class of younger platforms and native generative AI startups are taking aim. Of course, for all those efforts, Microsoft, TikTok, startups, they've barely made a dent in Google's dominance. It had 93% of the market share in December 2022. As ChatGPT launched, 92% a year later. It's been the dominant search engine for decades, and it's hard to change consumer behavior.
People are questioning whether Google is truly the leader in AI. Remember ChatGPT is built on something that Google released 7 or 8 years ago.
I'm in the belief that Google, their 20-year lead in search, is going to inform better AI decisions. You're going to go to Google more over time, and there's more opportunities for them to monetize search. And so Big picture here, the Google story is intact.
Plus, Google is entrenched. It is the default search engine on basically every smartphone in the world.
Google has one of the most resilient consumer products of all time, two of the most resilient consumer products of all time, in search and in YouTube.
Google owns the Android operating system, and it pays billions of dollars a year to Apple for that privilege on the iPhone. But perhaps Google's biggest advantage, its data. Google has been the gateway to the internet almost since the internet went mainstream. Generative AI needs vast, diverse, and relevant data to train its models, and no one has more data than Google. The question is whether Google can harness it in the age of AI.